Welcome to the 15th episode of the Pokemon Teams for Musical Artists series. Today we have a classic band that was mainly from my parents' generation, but their hits have lived on for decades. Requested most recently by Arceus Fan 1212 on YouTube, our artist for today is none other than the Rolling Stones. Formed all the way back in 1962, the Rolling Stones are one of those bands whose name flew under the radar, but the songs that they created have lived on for decades. I'm gonna be honest on the internet and say that I didn't know that Mick Jagger was one of the co-creators of the band. I thought he was just a solo artist that got randomly famous, so shout out to Arceus Fan 1212 helping me learn something new every day. For the Rolling Stones' first Pokemon, let's get this one out of the way. It's Graveler. The thing literally moves by rolling. Also, sorry if you thought it was Geodude. I'm a bit uncertain of exactly how that little guy gets around, so we're gonna stick with Graveler. When the Rolling Stones became famous, they were perceived to be a copy of the Beatles, so their manager made the decision to market them as bad boys, more or less, so that they would feel separate from the Beatles to the public. For these reasons, I'm gonna give them a Beatle, but not just any Beatle, the Roller Beatle Relor. The Rolling Stones' most listened to song ever is very obviously Paint It Black, and I'm not sure if you ever caught that the band also added some Middle Eastern flair by adding the sitar to the song. That's the instrument you hear in the intro. For the Middle Eastern influence and the obvious song title, we are going to give the Rolling Stones a female Hippowdon. For their fourth Pokemon, let's talk about the iconic Rolling Stones logo that I feel like gets thrown around left and right. It was designed by John Pasci and based on Mick Jagger's suggestion of the tongue of the Hindu goddess Kali. It is quite literally the most well-known band logo to ever exist and encapsulates the allure and appeal of rock and roll with the rebellion that the genre is rooted in. In terms of giving the Rolling Stones a Pokemon for this, I'm gonna have to take the bait and give them a Licky Licky. Here's where I'll also talk about the quantity of the Rolling Stones and why they were successful. The Rolling Stones released 31 studio albums, 13 live albums, and 28 compilation albums totaling upwards of 340 songs. They were talented, yeah, but sometimes things just have to stick when you release that much music and surround yourself with people who are good at promoting. The band capitalized on everything they could have in the back half of the 1900s and is still performing today with a fan base that will never stop showing up for them. For this, we have to give the Rolling Stones an Alcremie. I mean, the thing has 63 different form types. They can't all be bangers, but there sure are some good ones. Last up, it's time to talk about my favorite song by the Rolling Stones, and that would be You Can't Always Get What You Want. I feel like this is a song that fits perfectly in the background of 95% of the things going on in life and is pretty explicit about what it's about. I thought about this for a bit with regards to Pokemon that have to do with desire and decided it was time to unleash probably one of my top 3 favorite legendary Pokemon. I'll give you 3 seconds to guess what this one will be. Yeah, of course, it's the Wish Pokemon Jirachi. That wasn't a curveball. Even though the song is about life giving you the things you need no matter what you say you want, it feels appropriate to have the Pokemon that grants wishes representing this song. So there we go, the Rolling Stones Pokemon team. Let me know what Pokemon I got wrong, what you would have given them, and what artists you would like to see next down in the comments.